From Milwaukee, it's Movie Chatter.
Hey, we're getting right to it.
Yeah, that's a good
Wow,
one.
that's fresh.
Yeah.
Fresh.
Fresh, it's late at night, and we saw
Color Out of Space.
with Nick Cage.
Another
Horror sci-fi.
small budget.
This is going to be a quick one because
Art
I have to
film.
go to work in the morning.
Yeah, but it didn't look so small budget.
Sci-fi.
There was some good effects.
$12 million.
I thought it was 6 million.
Well, I have 12.
Okay, well that's,
Producers-
those are both.
That's a big difference.
That's like the price of one actor in most movies.
Yeah,
right,
right,
right.
right.
Touche.
So budget.
Nicolas Cage
There
got
wasn't
his
a
money.
lot of names, just Nick, really.
Nick,
I mean,
Jolie Richardson, the his wife in the movie. You've
oh sure,
seen her and
she's
stuff.
a name for sure.
Tommy Chong,
Oh yeah,
His
Oh, yeah.
a little bit.
And he's still smoking.
His wife was in
he always will be.
oh
God bless.
god, what's the movie we
Event
love about
Horizon?
Event Horizon?
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
so premise.
From the producers of Mandy, but this is a much more kind of mainstream kind of horror sci-fi.
A little bit. A story of cosmic terror about the Gardeners, a family who moves to a remote farmstead in rural New England to escape the hustle of 21st century. They are busy adapting to their new life when a meteorite crashes into their front yard. The mysterious aerolite seems to melt into the earth, infecting both the land and the properties of space-time with a strange, otherworldly color. To their horror, the Gardner family discover that this alien force is gradually mutating every life form that it touches, including them.
Wow, that was well written.
Well written.
Read.
That was better than the.
Oh.
You did good. Thank you.
Better than you just did. But yeah,
Thanks.
great. H.P. Lovecraft horror sci-fi book,
Has anybody-
a short novel or something like that from
Right.
1940s, something like
The
that.
acclaimed
Yeah, so the
H.P.
color out of
Lovecraft.
space existed already before this movie, because that's what this other piece that Dave just threw at me. Richard Stanley's mother, Penny Miller, was a huge fan of H.P. Lovecraft, and she read Lovecraft's works to Stanley when he was young. At the age of 12 or 13, he read The Color Out of Space, which has always been a part of his psychological makeup, unquote. When his mother suffered from cancer, Stanley read Lovecraft's works to her in her declining years. So this meant a
Interesting.
lot to him.
Yeah.
And he's the writer director.
Mhm.
Hasn't really directed much.
He
He's
hasn't
written
done
a
much.
lot.
Right.
Wow. He had a
But
big
he did
movie
de-
back in the
He
90s.
did a decent job, I think.
He did a decent job.
So it's a
This
horror sci-fi
thought
that
movie.
tidbit made some of the elements of the film mean more to me than it did just in watching it.
Okay.
Right. I mean, this is very fresh.
Yeah.
It's
So we've got the synopsis.
Mhm.
right.
We have.
That's what happened.
How about
We
the?
have the actors. We have Nick Cage. We have Jolie Richardson. Not a huge cast.
Did you notice the
Good
mayor?
actor.
The mayor
Mm.
was the girl from A New World. She was Pocahontas.
Yes.
Oh, really?
I mean, she hasn't done much.
Yeah, she didn't seem like much of a mayor.
Unpronounceable name.
No, she
Unpronounceable.
seemed like a terrible mayor, to be
Pure
perfectly
un-
honest.
Yeah,
Killed
Like
terrible.
hot-headed and like property grubbing. Like what? She was a terrible mayor.
Yeah. So
Well,
What do
H.P.
we think?
Lovecraft, I wanted to say, he was like the Stephen King back when. And
Oh, yeah.
in the old days,
Yes.
like this is a movie made in the 50s, this would be The Blob or It Came from Outer Space.
yeah.
But to me, this had a bit of the Annihilation flavor,
Oh yeah, definitely.
where molecular changes were taking
Yeah.
place in the plants
Right.
and so forth. And,
Yeah, and
and
it has psychological as well as physical, repercussions.
I think
Yeah,
it's a good
yeah.
enough story that if they could have talked someone into it and added 100 onto that budget,
yes.
Yeah.
it could have been.
Could be.
Yes.
Now Del Toro wants
Mm.
to make. I think it's the movie called From the Mountains of Madness, something like that. I'm goofing it up,
Okay.
Okay.
but that's an also Lovecraft
Oh,
story,
Okay.
more popular.
Oh,
And
okay.
he's trying to push, $100 million budget.
Yeah.
I would
for
love
that.
to see it.
Yes.
I
So
did not.
A lot of people would.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I did
let's-
not feel that this was, way. It didn't feel like an under budget movie.
No, it didn't.
but I wanted more.
I
because
did.
there's
I wanted,
not. Go
I
ahead.
wanted more.
I wanted more from the story.
Yeah.
I felt like they had a couple of threads that didn't tie in, that got
Okay.
introduced and never really kind of related. and I feel like and when we say it's not under budget, what are we talking? Effects?
The effects were good. I mean, the effects
They
were
were.
like the thing.
They
Right.
didn't need a ton of effects. I mean, there was
Maybe just a few more.
towards the end you
Yeah.
get a little bit more effect driven, but it's sort of simplistic stuff.
It
It's not
is.
like they're not creating characters that they have to show. It's a lot of color and swirling of the visuals and that
I
sort
mean,
of
it's
stuff.
nothing like Annihilation's budget, where they
No.
were taking the sand from the beach and turning it into glass trees. Here,
Yeah.
it's mostly colorful,
Flowers growing.
colorful, unique-looking flowers.
They did a good job with that.
They did.
The flowers were fine.
It didn't. It was never off-putting.
There was
it
a
didn't,
couple
it didn't
of
detract.
monsters maybe that were. I listened to an interview of Richard and Nick Cage talking about the movie.
Richard
and-
Stanley.
Yeah, and he said they tried to use practicals.
Oh, good.
So for everything.
Yeah.
And then what they did is they overlaid it. There was a company named User T38 out of Spain that did the special effects and
Okay.
just augmented a little bit. So
Yeah.
they tried to do everything practically.
Okay, but towards the end of the movie, there's some pretty major
Spectacular.
special
Things that
effects.
happen.
Yeah, there's some stuff that is obviously not practical.
It's a little slow at first.
It's
has
a slow
a-
start.
It has a good last half hour punch.
right.
Well,
Yeah, it's
like
a
the
simple
slow
story.
I like the slow beginning. It reminded me of Poltergeist, where you show a happy family. Although this one was quite not.
Right, it's not
Dysfunctional.
Yeah, a little
crazy.
dysfunctional. But you know, they're still kind of happy in this beautiful scenery of I think this was northern Canada somewhere.
No,
Massachusetts.
Massachusetts. Yeah, rural New England.
Oh, that's where it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
rural
think
New
the
England.
actual site though was from
Right.
Canada.
Potato.
Beautiful area, and they built that up to kind of show it was a happy area, and now this meteorite lands, and it's not so happy anymore.
Yeah.
I
What else
like
we
that.
like?
Yeah, what factors are we talking? Let's break it down.
I thought
I
Okay.
love the music. Did you?
I
hear-
did.
God, it was
The music was good.
amazing.
The whole sound quality to me was a very high point.
I would like more music. It was fantastic when it came on. It was.
Yeah.
I don't know who did it, but it was great.
Yeah, the score was good.
I thought the effects were great for its budget. I mean, you have Nick Cage in there. He's not doing it for free. There are actors have to be paid, and you know, it was like watching a John Carpenter The Thing. You know, like the dog that peels
Right.
like a banana.
Right.
It was,
That's what it felt like.
but the story was not nearly as strong as the thing.
No,
That's
no, oh,
my
God, no.
complaint.
God,
I
no.
mean, if I'm gonna be critical, that's my thing. It was like, wait, you never got any kind of closure or explanation as to what purpose this alien
Right.
force or body
Yeah, it was
served there.
simplistic in that way. It was simplistic. It was like meteor lands, sort
There
of
might be
causes havoc.
creatures that came of it. You're not really sure. You see a
Right.
bug. You see it manifest as a force within water.
An alien, a contaminating alien
I was
effect.
confused. I
There's,
thought
there's too many threads that didn't tie in.
Well,
It
from the
didn't go
trailer,
anywhere.
I expected that when the meteor hit,
Mhm.
the entire movie was going to turn to like a blue hue.
Okay.
I expected
But
that,
it
so
was
that
not.
threw me off.
No,
No.
What
it was much
about
more subtle.
what
Yeah.
about the somewhat sporadic graphic like gore that
Yeah.
just like shocks you? Like all of a sudden somebody's cutting some carrots and then all of a sudden it's like, ah,
Yeah.
holy mackerel.
Yeah.
There-
Well, and that's
It's-
one of the threads that I feel like they never kind of fully explored or
As to,
explained.
like,
it was that
how
there
these
was
people
a
are
mental aspect.
Right, these
So-
people were like sort of like mentally taken over by
Right,
this alien
they,
being.
like entranced or
Entranced.
possessed by it, because they insinuate that of the boy to begin with, the youngest
Right.
boy, because he's like sitting Indian style in the hall when
Yeah.
the meteor hits.
Right, it's like
somehow.
if it gets close to you, it's kind of just a mental thing, but if it shoots you right in the face, you might end up turn into some sort of mutated.
How about the most
Whatever.
realistic scene in the movie? I thought.
Oh boy.
I mean, it was like
Not the mother
The-
and son melting
the acting.
together.
It was Nick Cage going crazy, but
Yes.
but wait, this particular scene, I was like, this is so accurate, I can't believe it. The car wouldn't start, and he was so mad, he just started
Starts
like
screaming.
Starts
Starts
screaming
pounding on the
like
steering wheel.
me in the car. You know, it was like we were like trying to punch the ceiling, and he was.
That is
And
hilarious.
then also
because that's
very
exactly
realistically,
Dave.
he walks in nonchalantly and says, "The car's not happening."
The car.
Right.
Right.
After just having a mental breakdown,
Right, like,
nearly like
Folks, the car
ripping
is
the
not
steering
happening.
wheel off.
You know how many times I've gone to the gym?
Dave's
where
just connecting on a
I jump in my truck and
100%.
the battery is dead. I just put one of those battery minders on it.
Oh, I have one in the
a
back
day.
of my car.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they couldn't.
But
I thought
Nick-
it was cool that the scientist guy who was checking the table water and so forth.
I like that.
The hydrologist.
Hydrologist, thank you.
Thank you. Good.
Quite frequently refer to him as that, but
Yeah,
Mhm.
so
Played
he
by
was
Elliot
the
Knight.
normal guy that would come in
Right.
and go, "What the fuck is going on
Right.
here?"
In the beginning of the movie, he sort of
need
he
that.
meets the daughter.
There's a
and-
little
and
attraction
she's-
yeah,
there.
potential
she's-
love interest.
Yeah, she's sort of a
Satan
Wiccan.
worshipper.
Yeah, a little bit. She's conducting a
That was another
ritual.
storyline
like
that never
17
went
years old.
anywhere.
It
Yeah.
didn't. In the end, I mean, in the end,
Kind of.
it's like, is that related to what how the movie started?
But it kind of wasn't.
Right. They didn't really explain why she
Don't you
may
want
have.
to read the book now?
No, that was.
I mean, there was
Well.
clearly threads that had
I
more
wanna
to
read
them
the book.
that didn't
Yeah.
get translated to the movie, is what I'm saying. Because, like, yeah, the opening of the movie is her performing this ritual, and you know, she's a Wiccan girl, and then
Right.
he's.
You don't know if that is somehow related. If that's, is there some sort of
But that really only comes in
witch
one
/
other
alien
scene.
thing that goes together? It
And,
doesn't
and then
really,
it
but
never relates in any other
it
way.
really doesn't,
No.
except for that she and her her father don't get along because she's odd. That
Yeah,
way.
so there's
Yeah.
a daughter, oldest son, and then a youngster like 4 years old, and then the
Yeah.
mom and dad. They're
Like
all
10.
living in this
Yeah,
More like
beautiful,
10 or 12.
Eight-ish
beautiful
if-
home. I
if-
wish I
If
could
anything,
have
but
that.
yeah.
How about the milking of alpacas?
I know.
love-
I-
that was a funny Nick Cage.
Maybe
Would you
my
like some
favorite
alpaca
scene.
milk?
I actually wrote
Would you
that
like
down.
some?
Milking
Oh.
the alpacas.
You're lost.
You're lost as he
Yeah.
chugs it.
As
Oh,
he tries to
I added some fennel to their diet. I think it gives it a better
changes the
complexity.
taste.
I love it.
I mean,
and,
if you
and
like
like
Nick
fresh,
Cage, you're gonna like
fresh
this movie.
alpaca milk. And then
Oh
you-
my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, actually, his acting is definitely a high point because he has this like mental deterioration throughout.
Oh my
And it
gosh, does
wasn't-
he ever?
Was it not one of your favorite parts where he sits down and watches a movie, like after everything has gone to shit?
I love that. Like
he's
he,
like, I've
he's
seen this one before.
right.
And
He's
like just
trying to
settles
like
in.
keep some semblance
Some
of
normalcy.
normalcy, while like everything is turning into mutants. And yes, exactly. Great stuff. You're gonna get Nick Cage
His
freaking
performance
out.
is good.
Some
I wish
freaky
if they had a
visuals.
little bit more money, maybe they could have done this better, but they didn't. You know, the color meteorite, whatever, comes from outer space, and it affects the plants. We
Groundwater.
we
Right.
see cool looking
Lot of
flowers
water.
and stuff.
Mhm.
We see maybe even some insects or something that
Yes.
are different.
Yeah.
But
Also
the time
not
it's supposed
resolved.
to change time,
Yeah.
and they try to explain that, but like you put away the alpacas, and then later they're out. I just put them away. And I
Yeah.
thought they could have done a better job
Yeah,
of
it
time,
True.
space, screwing
It
up.
didn't translate.
No.
It really wasn't very well explained. And
Yeah.
a lot of those, they tried too much and it didn't tie in well enough.
Yeah.
For some reason, it
wasn't
kind of
tight.
worked, but then there was a lot of that left you wanting it to be better.
A little more
Yeah.
explanation.
Like it was like it had potential that was unachieved.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
they just
that's
had
the
to put a
best way
little
to
bit
put
more
it.
effort into that. Maybe it would have been a longer movie, but it would have been worth it to
Because
do that.
for me, for a good sci-fi horror, whatever, I wanted to have like just a slight element of plausibility. I want a thought put into
Yeah,
it as to
right.
like what's the purpose? What's there's a force behind this that in this case
True.
there was some alien life or force that I still don't
They
know
didn't
what they
give you that sort of
did or why they
explanation.
wanted to be there
Yeah.
or
Yep.
and honestly the opening and the closing might have been one of the best parts of the movie too.
Hmm.
I loved his little monologue at the end and his sultry toss of the cigarette and
Yeah.
you know but his closing monologue there should have been a better story for it to close on.
Still, this is a worthwhile
It is.
thing to watch.
If you like Nick
if you're
Cage.
listening, we're not cutting
Yeah.
it down that much. We
No.
just wanted. It was good. We just wish it could have been just a touch better.
Yeah, I mean, if
Yeah.
you like sci-fi, it is definitely a good independent
Oh, yeah.
sci-fi film.
And
Yeah.
it's high quality cinematography in this thing. I thought it's
A lot
it's,
of really good
It's
stuff.
not cheap, even though it's the producers from Mandy. It doesn't have that kind of weird cinematography. It's more
I
mainstream.
think the high point for me is it's like visually stunning. Towards the
Yeah.
end, there's a lot of really
Oh yeah.
cool
It felt
visual
Hollywood
stuff.
quality in a lot of
Yeah.
scenes in
And
this
some
movie.
super music. I don't know who's doing the music, but they're really good. Also, you haven't seen a sci-fi like this yet. We saw Annihilation, which was great.
Closest thing to it.
Right, but we really haven't
It
seen this.
was a very original take on aliens coming to Earth and what happens.
Yeah.
It was an original take on it.
Yeah, and I mean,
Right.
it's we saw it early. You can catch it in a couple days. It'll be a Target.
DVD,
um,
yeah.
Yeah. on the 24th.
Simultaneously,
Right.
it's going to be in
Wide
limited,
release, right.
limited wide. I don't know. I'm sure this isn't going to be. It's not like the Avengers. It's not going to be
No, I
4,000
know.
theaters.
But I think that's the thing. We like to see Nick Cage early.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mandy, if you saw
And he
Mandy,
was excellent. And if you like,
Yeah.
if you like sci-fi, if you like a little bit of horror, if you like aliens, it was all good.
I'll give you my grade. Sound quality, fantastic. Effects were great for the low budget. Acting to me was 50-50. The kids could have been better.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like- I like
Rewatchability, maybe if I can get a
I'll
copy
watch it
of it.
again.
And I'm giving it a C+.
Ooh, that's pretty low.
A little
Yeah.
harsh. A
Low.
little harsh.
C+.
No, I would have definitely give this a B, not a B minus. I
Okay.
thought this was worthwhile. I enjoyed it. I liked watching this.
I enjoyed it
I thought it was
too.
pretty good. And so, so B minus in that
C
area.
plus, B.
Mine's C+, but I recommend if you love
Yeah.
Nick Cage.
I actually
What
wrote
do you
down the
think?
same thing. I said C plus.
Alright.
I'm not.
C plus.
It wasn't phenomenal, but
It wasn't
I,
Little Women.
no.
Yeah,
no,
no.
Well,
no, no.
clustered. I'm gonna say B minus.
Okay.
That's
You know, and that yeah.
all right.
There you go.
If it's your cup of tea, go see it.
Yes.
Do you like mini
what it comes
episodes?
down to?
It's
17
cool.
minutes and 34 seconds.
Bam.
Perfect.
That just happened. Love it.
No recap needed. MovieChatterPodcast@gmail.com.
Check it out.
Instagram, Twitter,
Tell us what to watch.
Facebook.
Facebook.
Subscribe
YouTube.
to YouTube.
Yeah, go ahead and subscribe.
Do you like a
Like
midweek
us.
show like this?
Do you? Yeah.
Do you like a mini review?
Do you like a mini review?
Because those are fun.
Mm.
Focused.
Right.
I can chop up the shows, but I need to hear from people, not just Mary.
We love Mary,
We love Mary.
Nancy,
But,
Super fans.
Paulette,
yeah, there you go.
All right. Good stuff.
Oliver.
All right, well,
We'll see you next
We'll
time.
see what happens.
10-4 over and out.
See you, boys.
Bye.
later.